Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl K. Antoinette Devereaux, and you are watching my Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. Finally, part 3, done by yours truly, K. Antoinette Devereaux. This is my reality perspective, my opinion, my damn prerogative. Okay. Anyway, I gotta keep it 100 with you guys. Sunday, I was buzzed off of my tail, messing with that daggone Andy Cohen. I thought that it would be cute if I had my own drinking game where I would take a sip every time somebody threw shade or read or gave a side eye or popped a fan or gave a long tearful monologue or sung Amazing Grace. So, honey, by the time I realized it, I was just laughing all the way through Married to Medicine, and then Watch What Happens Live gave me everything. Andy Cohen, you are a genius because you had Porsha Stewart and Vivica Fox on that night, and the buzzword was ashy. And so every time I wanted to just really get toe up, I just had to look down at my feet or my elbows or my knuckles, and I just took it to the head. Shoot, by the time Fashion Queens came on, I thought everything was funny. So there is no way I could have given you guys a drunken review. And then come Monday, I had a hangover out of this world. So yeah, I'm finally going to get into this Real Housewives of Atlanta part 3 that we dragged out for 3 weeks. But I want to give a shout out to my Bravoites on the Bravo website. I want to give a shout out, kudos and hand claps to all my girls on the Real Housewives of Atlanta Facebook fan page. Doesn't matter whether you're Team Nene, Team Phaedra, Team Kenya, or Team Porsha. It's all team entertainment. So let's just get into it, okay? First up on my docket is the Kenya and Waltergate. Now, from day one, when Kenya sat down with Miss Lawrence and had lunch, Miss Lawrence had dropped a little breadcrumb off of his plate that I had to investigate. He was talking about the previous relationship that Kenya had with somebody in Houston. H-Town is my stomping ground. I worked in the entertainment industry for about 20 years in that city. So I was like, wait a minute, hold him up. I know it couldn't have been a rapper. I know it could have been a hood star. It had to be somebody in the NBA or NFL. So I got up on the line and I put it out on the wire. So my sources came back and said that it is said reportedly she was dating Katina Mobley, which would make sense because he is a former Houston Rockets that got traded to LA. He's been known to date Kim Cattrall and a whole bunch of different people. So I went and confirmed it down through Lipstick Alley. So, it made sense to me. So when it got down to questioning whether that relationship was real or not, and the reason why Andy Cohen asked, in case you guys don't know, is because Walter, with his old cat daddy self, I can't stand him. He ran down to the radio station trying to rightfully so, protect his sexuality was questioned. Kenya was running around town telling everybody that he was on the down low and he was gay because he never want to hit it. So he went down to the radio station to give his side of the story. And that's when we got the backdrop on how they met. Walter says they met in 2008 at the NBA All-Star game that was in Dallas. So that kind of would make sense, as to how they would bridge, Katina Mobley in basketball, and she met Walter. They exchanged phone numbers. He said that they would, visit each other back and forth 3 times. He came and stayed with her in LA. She came to stay to visit her aunt, and he visited her aunt when she was staying in her aunt's house. So they tried to make a relationship work, but the long distance, kind of brought it to a close. So I don't know if you guys noticed that what we saw on this season was basically a wife swap. It was a housewife swap because Nene went down to an empty house in the Hollywood Hills and Kenya went down to an empty house in Atlanta. And I don't know if y'all caught the episode where Nene was digging through Kenya's storage truck trying to decide what she wanted to buy to put in her house. And that's why Kenya made the comment when she was on the curb or peeking in the window, well, can I at least see what my dining room table looks like? Nene tried to pop fly on Twitter and sent out a tweet, look, you didn't give me nothing. I have canceled checks for the things that I bought. So they had some kind of, estate sale between the two of them. And, honestly, if you ask me, I think Kenya and Nene have a rapport with each other because we never saw how that whole business deal went down. Like, how did you guys negotiate to buy each other's furnitures and, things of that nature. If you ask me, I really feel like Kenya is Nene's understudy. I think Nene slid her the cliff notes on how to keep it popping, how to keep the ratings popping. Because Nene is off in LA. She's on the new normal, and she's on Glee. She's too rich bitch to do Real Housewives of Atlanta full time, so she needed someone to kind of keep them flames, keep that show hot. And I think that's what Kenya did. But let's get back on this whole Walter situation. So there is her story, his story, and then there's the truth. And this is what I think the truth is. I think the truth is that when Kenya came to Atlanta, she knew that, she was going to be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And anytime that you're on a reality TV show, you have to have a side story, and you have to have people that are willing to film with you. So when they asked her about her love interest, she probably mentioned that, she used to date a guy named Walter or whatever, and she threw Walter's name out. And it would make perfect sense for her to reach out to a guy that she had previously tried to have a relationship with, that it didn't work because it was long distance. So if you're in his town, and you're trying to find a husband, why wouldn't you reach out to Walter? So I really feel like what happened is that she called Walter up and said, hey, look, I'm in town. I'm going to be doing this reality show. Are we going to be dating again? Are you interested in rekindling our relationship, seeing where it can go? I believe Walter was totally open to dating Kenya, but she had to let him know, I'm going to be filming a reality show. Would you have a problem with that? And he probably objected to it and was like, I don't know about that. Let me think about it. Because on the radio show that he that he gave his interview on, he said he asked his friends, should he do it? And his friends said, go on and get your 15 minutes of fame, man. So I think that Walter had his own motives for rekindling a relationship with Kenya. I don't believe that he wanted to get married. I think he may have indicated that he was open to getting married. And I think Kenya took that and ran with it. A lot of people say that Kenya's bipolar. I just don't think that she's bipolar. I think Kenya is hormonal. I don't think she needs to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist and pop a pill. I think she needs to go see an OBGYN and get her hormones in check, because I'm pretty sure her fallopian tubes and her uterus are banging like a grandfather clock, honey. It happens. Trust I know. Anywho's and anyways, Kenya messed up when she met with Walter that night, and she told him, what I need you to do is to put a ring on it and put a baby in it. And the night that she told him that, his dick GPS went like this. That's the worst thing you could do is pressure a man into marriage. Now, I think Kenya needs to wrap her crown around this. You need to wrap your crown around the fact that you are beautiful, you're talented, you're intelligent, you're well-spoken, you've won a lot of titles in your life. However, it does not matter how fine your body is. It doesn't matter if you have breasts that you can lift up like Lion King pups. It doesn't matter if your stomach is washboard flat or if you have a stallion ass that puts Seabiscuit to shame. You can have all those things, baby girl, but you cannot drag an old mule like Walter to the pond and make him drink if he don't want to. Okay? I don't care how the water is glistening off your body, Anguilla. He is like, I am not hooking my tow truck up to that, because once I do, I will not be able to shake it. So, honey, you just better be glad that God blocked it, honey, because you didn't want none of that. Okay? So that's how I feel about that whole Waltergate, was it authentic or not? Andy Cohen he is shady, but it's a job. He's got to do it. You know what I mean? I think when he asked everybody, he goes, so you have 9 people on this stage that do not believe that your relationship was authentic. Kenya was like, no, not everybody said it. He goes, okay, well, let's take a poll. Does anybody think that this relationship was authentic? Crickets. Honey, did nobody say nothing except Greg's old crazy tail talking about, well-defined relationship. And then Candy said, well, I will say in her defense that, I believe that she thought that she was in a relationship. And can you raise her hand and say, I did. I'm the only one who thought I was in a relationship. Everybody else around me knew I wasn't. From Nene to her aunt to everybody, to Walter. Even Peter said, no, he was on this show to promote his tow truck company, and then Candy backdoored and gave some proof to me that Walter must have, kind of let Kenya think he was interested in settling down, because when she asked their mutual friend, hey, how come, you didn't tell me that Walter was dating Kenya? how come you didn't tell me that? The mutual friend said, well, don't bust him out because he is trying to settle down. So as far as that whole Walter thing is concerned, I really think that Kenya fell for the okie doke. I think she was, she was thirsty. She's thirsty. She wants a husband bad, and you'll take a chance on a tow truck driver. Was she wrong for saying that he was down low and questioning his sexuality? A lot of people say that she was wrong for saying that on national television, but I'm here to tell you, I feel like any female who had been with a man and you were trying to, get it popping, and he don't want it, you gonna ask him, what's wrong? Are you not attracted to me? Are you attracted to men? What? I mean, I feel like nowadays you need to find out what a man like anyway, if he like girls or boys. I mean, you just need to find that out. That's just me. On the docket was Porsha and Kordell. Okay, so it was so painful for me to watch Porsha sit up on that couch and defend her husband to the fullest. Honey, child, please stop all that lying. You was lying through your teeth, talking about, well, Kordell is at work and he works on a radio show, and after the show is over, he gets off at 6, and after the show is over, he had to meet with the heads, so he couldn't be here tonight. No, baby, we all know that Kordell was meeting with his attorneys and they was down to the courthouse filing paperwork. Girl, he bamboozled you, honey. He didn't even snatch your wig. He snatched your soul. I don't even know how you could be in a house with a man and not have a clue that he is divorcing you. I just don't. That really hurts me to the core. But I have to tell you, it's some don't smell right about y'all's marriage. Something don't smell right about it. I'm not gonna try to be funny. I'm just gonna get into I'm gonna get into it. This is what I see. First of all, I probably am one of the few people that do not agree that Kordell Stewart was a controlling and mean, dominant husband, because it's obvious that Porsha is a dodo. She is a dingbat. She reminds you of a young girl who you are frustrated with because they're old enough to know better, but they just keep on doing dumb stuff. They keep on saying dumb stuff. I mean, come on. Porsha hasn't learned about life. Number one, she has a sense of entitlement. I don't know how. I don't want to get into how she was raised or whatever, but all I know is this. In terms of her marriage to Kordell Stewart, number one, when you threw that tired ass backyard barbecue for powerful women of Atlanta that you kicked Kenya out of, Kordell rolled up in the spot and he wrote a $200,000 check and gave you a designer handbag to put it in for the Hosea Williams Foundation so that y'all can feed people more than 265 days a year. Girl, when you sat up in that place and said, this is a full-time thing, we do this all year long, I'm talking about 265 days of the year, you didn't even bat an eye. You didn't even catch. You know what? That was a Freudian slip, because y'all don't feed people every day. But you had a husband who wrote you a $200,000 check to make up for them 2 times the 100 days that was missing off of your calendar. Do you know the kind of people that do not know how many days that there are in a year? People who do not write the date on checks, and people who don't pay bills, people who don't have a job, people who do not depend on the 1st and the 15th. Those are the people who do not know, do not have a sense of how many days there are in a year. Come on, work with me. First of all, I don't think that Kordell was that controlling. I think Kordell has to deal with something that you guys don't have to deal with 24/7, and he had enough. First of all, I think that Kordell and Porsha had an agreement before they got married. You don't want to work. You don't have to, because in her opening monologue, she said, all I do is lunch and shop. And she told Candy, I don't look at price tags. All I want is my name. Porsha does not come from money. Porsha comes from a legendary family. She has a pedigree, but it's not money. Kordell has money. His net worth is $16 million. So she saw bing dollar signs. He provided her a life that she always wanted. She just wanted to be a wife. That's all she wanted. When y'all remember her in the opening season, when her and Kordell was in the hot tub in the middle of the day doing the stuff that honeymooners do, these people have only been married 2.5 years. All he wanted to do was lay in the bed and watch her stroll in front of the foot of the bed and run downstairs and burn some biscuits. He didn't even care that she burnt the biscuits as long as she was cute doing it. Okay? And every time that I saw Kordell counsel her, I saw a man who wanted his wife to grow up and wanted his wife to just be more about herself. I think that Kordell and her had an agreement that he was going to provide the MILs, the meals, and she was going to cook the MEALs. That's why she just went off like, I do want my children to know that their mama is there and I'm going to fix Kordell's meals. See, she is having a nervous breakdown because she should have never involved her marriage in this reality stuff. It wasn't strong enough. Reality TV is a curse. Porsha reminds me of the black Jessica Simpson. I think every time Kordell was talking to her, he was trying to tell her, look, you need to man up. You need to handle these broads. You need to get this stuff in check. It's obvious that Porsha has a horrible work ethic because she got fired from volunteering at a daggone pageant. I mean, Cynthia had to fire her from volunteering. She could not produce any work. I mean, where does she live at? Malibu Barbie's dream house? I mean, come on, girl. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I mean, something is up with that marriage. There's more to it. First of all, this is what I really want to talk about. Let me get into it. I don't know if you guys know that Kordell's baby mama is Cherie's good friend who appeared on the very first season of the Real Housewives of Atlanta as Cherie's friend. Kordell gagged her from being on the show because he did not want her to discuss anything about their child, Cyree. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. So he told her she couldn't be on the show. But it's interesting that it's interesting that he would not allow his baby mama to be filmed, but he allowed Porsha to be filmed. And I'm going to tell you the reason why, because they had an agreement. If you're going to be on this show, do not let it interfere with our home life. Okay, because the realest thing that she said when she was going off about how she looked up to everybody is the fact that I am a housewife and you do have to be accountable for your husband. If you got a husband that's allowing you to go shopping and not looking at any tags, you buying all kinds of clothes, she herself said, I am Kordell's Barbie doll. Of course he dresses me. She said, I have a perfect life. My husband buys me gifts. I don't work. That is what you signed up for with Kordell, and that's what he agreed to. He did not agree. The career that he does not want to support is a celebrity housewife. He has seen it. He don't want no parts of it. And you let them women get in your head, little Bo Peep. You let them get in your head and mess your situation up. And now you're going to have to ride with it. I'm going to need you to put your big girl panties on next season, Porsha. You need to take Wendy Williams' advice. You need to get you some money, okay? I say you need 4 years of spousal support, not 2. Wendy says 2, I say 4. And I think you don't hold on to that house. Get up out of that house because you cannot maintain a house like that off of the Real Housewives of Atlanta season, the next season, because baby, you are a temp to perm assignment, honey. I'm not feeling you. You better come back and you better make it do what it do. I need you to get a read coach, a shade coach. I need you to get some kids on your team. You hear what I'm saying to you, girl? Because that's how you got to talk to Porsha. That's how Cynthia talked to her. She said, you said you could listen. Now listen. When me and Peter came on this show, we was doing horrible. It was not picture perfect. You had more than I had. You had money. That was the realest ish that was said on that show last night. Nene and Cynthia kept it real with Porsha. Nene said, when I did the Real Housewives of Atlanta, I did not have a model. They had them white girls with blonde hair in Orange County, and I'm a brown girl. And somebody on Twitter said, that's right, you a brown girl with blonde hair. They told you like it T.I. is. So if you want this, you better go for it. But did y'all catch how she did that long old crying monologue and there was no tears that came out? But the minute Andy said, would you like to sing? That girl popped up like a jack in the box and straightened out her little dress and she's like, Amazing Grace. Girl, I had to pull out my church fan. I said, you better glorify him. All right. Next up was, let's hear it for the boys. Because the Real Housewives husbands stepped on the stage and they they took their place behind their women. Everybody had somebody there except for Porsha and Kenya. Anywho, Todd is a good looking man. He represented very well for Candy. Greg looked like a butler, somebody's daddy. He is Nene's butler after all. Uncle Ben, Peter, Peter is actually the sixth housewife. He just wants to clutch a peach and be in the opening scene so damn bad. He got a lot of slack. The social media critics is tearing Peter up today because they didn't really think that, they think Peter kind of like got a little bit too involved in the girls' dramas and stuff. Him and Apollo, who I got to borrow a line from the fashion queens. Bev said that Apollo was giving her Build-A-Bear realness with that bow tie. So, I have to agree, but Apollo is fine. You know what I mean? So, but they were all trying to ride hard for Walter. Man, and nobody care about old ass Walter anymore. So what? Look, Walter, the time capsule is waiting for you. The dial is set to 1990s. Go ahead, jump in that mug and get your swag back because come on, dude. You're an old cat daddy. You got blow pops and Tootsie Rolls in one pocket and a handful of Chuck E. Cheese tokens in the other. No, bye, Walter. Gone, bye. Oh, that's Walter. Anyway. So, Apollo, Andy asked Apollo, well, how do you feel about Kenya? So Apollo said, well, first of all, I'm an educated felon. Now look, Apollo, I don't care how many courses you took at the county and how many hours you spent in the prison library. Ain't nobody trying to check for you being educated, baby. You just do what you do. You just be fine. That's what you do. So since we talking about how fine you are, let's talk about you and Kenya. So what's this, about you and Kenya texting? Because when you said you didn't care for Kenya, Kenya said, well, stop texting me. And he was like, the look on his face, he was all shocked, like, wait a minute, you be texting me, you be telling me, I'ma do to you what your wife don't do. And she was like, boy, please. She whipped out that cell phone and handed it over to Andy. Andy looked at it and said, this doesn't look like, it doesn't look like anything, like no sexting. So, he was like, I had to check out of the hotel, I had to check out of the Beverly's, I had to check out the whole Hotel Inn, the Motel 6, and I had to check in because I was checking out. When I was creeping out with this one here. Yeah, because somebody then produced some receipts talking about they was with you down to the Holiday Inn, but I don't believe that girl. Girl, sit down somewhere. However, I do believe that you and Kenya had a little flirtation going on. I think that you were open to some of her advancements, and I think that this started before the whole donkey booty stallion video battle. But I'm trying to figure out is once you guys squashed that business deal, why were you, and that your wife don't check with this chick, why was you still entertaining her? That's what I don't get. But we all did see Peter, not Peter, but Apollo tell Phaedra, I want to get back to the old jovial, however he pronounced it, me. I don't live under time constraints. Child, please. I'm going to tell you what's going on, y'all. Phaedra and Apollo have what I call a halfway house marriage. Anytime a convicted felon gets out of jail, they yoke up with whoever kept their commissary stacked up nice and tight with honey buns and top ramen and smokes. And so you feel a sense of loyalty to that chick. You get out, you marry her, but once you get your land legs back, then you want to go get your Humpty Dump on. You know what I mean? So I think that Apollo is smelling himself. I think he's throwing himself out wide and he's dropping it low. And he's trying to get on it. I think he was trying to be a jockey on that stallion booty, if you ask me, because it is his responsibility to squash any kind of texting, any kind of inappropriate communication in the bud. He should have did that situation. But I'm here to tell you, Kenya, I don't think Kenya would have slept with Apollo, but I think she would have set him up for the okie doke, and she would have tapped Miss Phaedra on her shoulder like, look at your husband trying to get up in these, okay? So that brings us to a line that was said, flirting does not a whore make. Okay, or how does it go? Flirting with someone does not a whore make. That's how it goes. What do y'all think about that? I for one, I don't flirt with people's husbands. I don't really know how to flirt, period. I try. It just doesn't, Anywho, but I just feel like that at the end of the day, the onus is on Apollo. Phaedra just sat there and she looked a little shocked and stunned with some of them allegations. And when Kenya produced her cell phone, I saw it was written on the bottom, "May I see it?" Okay. And see, here's the deal. I'm about to get on Phaedra, honey. I've been waiting for this. So Phaedra makes this comment that offended Kenya, and she said, "You can't make a whore into a housewife." Oh, really? Really, Phaedra? Some people beg to differ. Anywho's, anyways, it's time for me to get into the biscotti, the crumpet, to go with your hot popping tea. So, check this out, y'all. I was on Twitter last week, and I was just checking up on some of my tweets that I sent out. So I tweeted Kenya, and I wanted to ask her, what I tweeted Kenya was, is it true that Angela Stanton was in your dressing room? If that's the case, then y'all came to snatch life. Well, Angela Stanton retweeted me. And then another chick retweeted me named Jessica Lacey Volker. Now, what I found interesting about that, and for those of y'all who don't know, Angela Stanton is a woman who wrote a book called Real Lives of a Housewife that's out on Amazon. You can pick it up right along with your donkey booties and your stallion videos. And in it, she's talking about all the activity that her and Apollo and his brother did back in the day, okay? And, come on, y'all, it's believable. I mean, a lot of people are mad at her, like, you snitching and this, that, and the other. But what I feel like is Angela Stanton basically, was a crash test dummy for an operation. She took a stint, and nobody came and put no flowers on her grave. They buried her in the jailhouse. And when you're in jail and all you got is a legal pad and a pen, you start writing your story down and thinking, where did I go wrong? So she has every right in the world to write a story. Because let me tell you something, when you do business with thieves, there is no honor among thieves. Now, there's code and there's an ethic. Like when you do dirt with people, if you completely bury them and act like, your ish don't stink, and you don't kind of throw them back a peppermint so they can freshen themselves up, they do get in their feelings, and they do write books, which leads me to this next chick. Jessica Lacey Volker is a young lady who I reached out to on Twitter. Now, when I went on Jessica's page to see why would she retweet me, she's friends with Angela Stanton. And so when I went on her page, I saw that she had just did an interview for this website called hiphopdailypress.com. And so I went and listened to the audio of the interview. And she's talking about her past life and dealings with Phaedra. Now, the whole time I'm listening to this interview, my lips start to quiver like Olivia Pope, like, this is a scandal. I need to get to the bottom of this. So I became a gladiator in a suit, and I reached out and tapped my Twitter neighbor, and I said, my name is Anntionette. I kind of want to holler at you about a couple things, want to ask you a couple questions. So Miss Jessica, she reached out to me. We talked to each other on the phone. Yes, I had a phone conversation with her Saturday and Sunday because I wanted to get to the bottom of what her motivation is. What is your motivation for these allegations, and what is your book going to be about? So when I got on the phone with Jessica, it was just like she's a white girl from West where in the heck, Texas, who ended up with a hood reality star, Vernie Twin Volker. They opened up a car wash down in Atlanta called Twins. It was a 24-hour car wash. She said the first time she ever laid eyes on Phaedra was driving a hulled out Infiniti, bent over the hood, making her ass clap for Too Short. And so that's how she first met Phaedra. Phaedra and her husband befriended each other. They all became friends to the point where Phaedra is her son's godmother. So as I'm talking to this chick and we're bonding, she makes it clear to me that her book is about more than Phaedra. Phaedra has a couple of pages in it, but it's not all about Phaedra. She also says that she let Phaedra know she was writing a book. She told her, Phaedra, I need your advice and your direction. Many people have told me that I should write a book because my life is like a lifetime story. I'm a white girl from a wealthy family. I was the black sheep of the family. Now I'm down here with this Atlanta hood star. We got car washes and nightclubs, and I've done business with dealings with big wigs from So Def on down to celebrities in LA. So she was telling me bits and pieces of her story, and it is intriguing. And so I was basically like, what's your motivation? And she, actually I tried to, pop a little hate on Phaedra, but she was like, nah, my only problem with Phaedra is I think that the whole thing that she's created for herself, calling herself the Southern Belle, it's really cute. It's a cute lie because she's a Southern Belle from hell. And she she just thought it was just hilarious that Phaedra would say you can't make a hoe into a housewife, and that she's upset because somebody's flirting with her husband. When Jessica Lacey Volker says that Phaedra used to sit on her couch, bounce her son, Phaedra's godson, on her lap, and when she turned her back, she was bouncing on her husband's lap. Okay, so that's what she thinks is funny and giggles about, the fact that, you know, you didn't have no problem sleeping with my husband, so why you got a problem with someone flirting with yours? Anywho, y'all can check this all out on Bossip ran the story, or you can go to the original source, which is on hiphopdailypress.com. Check her out on Twitter. Look, I've talked a whole lot more than I probably planned to. Anyway, this season is over. It gave me everything. I will probably be talking about some other shows. Y'all stay tuned. Subscribe or follow me at Twitter. I am at K_ANNTIONETTE. All right.